Hello, I'm Lara Kılçarslan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Israeli tourists in Thailand are being slammed on TikTok for their behavior. Locals describe them as rude and difficult and are posting videos of their disruptions on social media.
Pai used to be this bohemian mountain town where people would come for tranquility and peace and the abundance of nature. Now the energy has completely shifted and it has a lot to do with who's here. This town is completely overrun with Israelis. I'm talking 3-to-1 ratio with locals and other tourists included. And of course they bring their sense of entitlement with them everywhere they go. Literally everybody is sick of them, the locals and other tourists alike.
Go back to your country. You are not welcome here. I'm sorry, but your money, but my money, okay, build your country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, Bruce, you're the manager, right?
Yeah.
Which nationality is the most difficult tourist?
Oh, mostly Israel.
Difficult.
They want everything for free.
Free. Israel or India? Israel.
Israel.
But it's not just the breakdown in relations between Israelis and Thais. The business sector has also been affected. Authorities in Thailand have recently cracked down on illegal activity linked to foreign nationals.
Currency scam is on the rise. Thai police in Koh Samui have arrested 2 Israeli nationals suspected of running a counterfeit currency scam targeting businesses and hotels. The suspects allegedly circulated fake Israeli shekel notes and attempted to exchange them for Thai baht. Local businesses tipped off authorities after discovering suspicious bills, and during their arrest, police seized forged notes, printing materials, and tools for producing counterfeit currency. Investigators are working with foreign missions to verify the origin of the notes and the suspects' backgrounds. The arrests have alarmed the business and tourist sectors, raising concerns about financial fraud targeting visitors.
You can't speak about tourism without mentioning hotels and rentals. Well, reservation sites such as Airbnb and Booking.com remain under scrutiny for promoting properties on land illegally inhabited by Israeli settlers.
I want to share with you my top 5 Airbnb and Booking.com finds, which are in settlements on territory illegally occupied under international law. So, coming in at number 5, we have this cute little guest house in Kfar Damim, surrounded by the springs and natural streams of the Judean desert, and just a stone's throw away from the Palestinian village of Khan al-Amar, which faces imminent demolition. Nights there are probably so quiet that you may even be able to hear the drones surveilling the nearby villagers 24/7. Now, if you're looking for something a bit more rustic, how about this camper in Kohav HaShahar, which comes in at number 4 on my list. If you're lucky, you might even be able to catch the locals enjoying some of their favorite traditions, like attacking Palestinian herders and killing their goats, or building outposts, which are illegal, even under Israeli law. If the vibe is modern and stylish though, I got you covered at number 3 with this sleek home in the heart of Male Adumim. Fun fact, back in the 90s, in order to get about 1,000 Bedouins to leave an area that was to be annexed into this Israeli settlement, the settlers disconnected sewage pipes and literally flooded the Bedouins' land. Too, take a look at this fabulous little oasis in the Judean desert. Imagine getting up just before sunrise, pouring yourself some coffee, and sitting outside while you watch the children of Al-Munta, a Palestinian village also threatened with demolition. It's hard to beat this hotel in Kalia Kibbutz for a luxurious stay right by the beautiful Dead Sea. Is there a wonderful little beach right inside the kibbutz? Of course. Are Palestinians allowed to enjoy it? Of course not.
As the difficult task of rebuilding lives and homes in post-war Gaza continues, another danger lurks. Hidden among the ruins, thousands of live munitions remain buried. These include unexploded landmines, mortar shells, and large aerial bombs capable of flattening buildings. The United Nations has previously warned the cleanup could take up to 14 years and require sophisticated machinery. But many of the Palestinians are doing it on their own and with their bare hands.
In Gaza, it has not yet been possible for a thorough assessment to take place on the extent of explosive weapons that have been left behind by military activities. But recent findings from a survey revealed that half of the people we asked had seen explosive ordnance. Some people had seen it up to 10 times. We also found that 70% of people in Gaza are returning to areas where there was intense fighting before, which greatly increases the risk of encountering explosive ordnance.
Amazon is in hot water again. A leaked internal document suggests the company has been hiding the true scale of water used by its data centers. According to the leak, executives at Amazon Web Services, that's the division running the service powering much of the internet, decided to report a much smaller figure for what they called primary water use. That's the water directly used to cool and run their massive server farms. But they left out secondary use, which is the water consumed to generate the electricity powering those same centers, all in the name of protecting the company's image.
In 2021, Amazon used about 400 billion litres of water. That's enough to supply almost 1 million American homes. Of that, Amazon admitted to using just 29 billion litres. That's just 7% of what they actually used. It comes to around 12,000 Olympic swimming pools worth. Now Amazon has set itself the goal of cutting consumption to 18.5 billion litres by 2030. Its 2022 campaign, called Water Positive, pledged to return more water than it uses. But that promise only applies to primary use, not the company's full water footprint.
Amazon insists the leaked memo is obsolete and misrepresents its current strategy. It says efficiency has already improved and that its reporting is verified by utility data. But critics, including environmental scientists and even former Amazon staff, say leaving out secondary and indirect water use distorts the picture and undermines trust. While Microsoft and Google publish full reports on their water use, Amazon still keeps its overall consumption secret, all while the company is expanding its data centers into some of the world's driest regions just to power the next wave of AI. And it's worth remembering, every tap, scroll, and search we make online runs through a hidden network of thousands of data centers around the world. Packed with servers, powering everything from AI models to online shopping, each one needs enormous amounts of energy and water just to stay cool.
125 million liters. That's how much water a single AI data center may use for cooling in a year, enough to fill 50 Olympic swimming pools.
Every time that you interact with ChatGPT and ask it 20 questions back and forth, that's the equivalent of pouring a bottle of water down the drain. Every query that you make for a ChatGPT or similar tool goes to what's called a data center. They produce heat and energy and they need to be cooled down, so water constantly has to flow across them in order to try and take away the heat.
A Cornell University study estimates that global AI could account for 6.6 billion cubic meters of water use by 2027, which is the equivalent of nearly 2/3 of England's annual consumption.
And Amazon isn't the only tech giant under fire this week. Australia's consumer watchdog is taking Microsoft to court, accusing the company of misleading nearly 3 million customers with its AI pricing.
Microsoft is facing court action for allegedly misleading 2.7 million Australians by deliberately omitting details of a cheaper plan when it introduced its AI assistant into its software subscriptions. It's alleged that at the end of October last year, Aussies personally subscribing to software like Word, PowerPoint and Excel were told that to keep their subscription, they must pay higher prices for the AI being added, or alternatively, cancel their subscription. But it turns out that there was a secret third option. So when users went to cancel their plans, they were presented with this screen, which you can see had another option, Classic. This let people keep the same price they had been paying instead of the $50 increase because of the AI. Until this point in the process, there had been no mention of the Classic plan. Australia's consumer watchdog, which is taking Microsoft to court over this, alleges that the company concealed the existence of the Classic plan until customers were ready to cancel to maximize profits.
If Microsoft is found guilty of misleading conduct, the company might have to pay up to $50 million per breach, or 30% of its Australian turnover during that period. If you work it out, that's an astronomical figure. Staying in the tech space, research shows that spending too much time on low-quality online content can shrink our attention spans, increase anxiety, and hurt self-esteem. Summed up in 2 words, brain rot. Now, scientists say AI models can get it too. A new study found when large language models are fed the same kind of short, viral social media content, their ability to think and reason clearly starts to falter.
Scientists at Cornell University spent months feeding viral Twitter content and highly engaged content to 4 different LLMs and found that they became more narcissistic and psychopathic, that their long context memory dropped by 30%, and their general reasoning dropped by 22%. Craziest part is they tried to retrain it with quality clean data, and the damage was already done. It literally could not recover. It had what they called persistent cognitive drift. Remember a couple of things. First, this is one test, it just came out, and it's their hypothesis. They fed strictly viral Twitter content to these machines, the cesspool of the social media world. If AI ever tries to take over the world, we now know we just have to feed it endless viral tweets and it'll just become too stupid to function.
US President Donald Trump is under fire for his latest White House makeover. He's adding a privately funded $300 million ballroom to the historic East Wing. The wing was expanded in 1942 to create extra workspace and to hide an underground bunker. And of course, the internet is already spinning with conspiracy theories. Some say Trump's not just adding a ballroom, he's building himself a bigger bunker.
It's not about the ballroom. He's secretly building a state-of-the-art bunker where the old one is. He's planning on staying in power for the rest of his life. That's why he didn't go through the proper channels. He's trying to create an emergency before the midterms so there will be no voting, and he and his regime will stay in power.
Funding for that ballroom is entirely coming from billionaire tech companies and places like Lockheed Martin. Why in the world would weapons companies be giving money for a presidential ballroom? The only reason companies would donate for the construction of something is if they would benefit from its construction and use. And what place do you build where tech companies, telecommunications companies, and weapons companies and energy companies benefit from its construction? I'll tell you one thing, it's not a ballroom.
Why? Why do we need a 90,000 square foot bunker to keep the president safe? One that's going to be finished right about the time he's about to leave office. Especially now that we have Steve Bannon out here standing for Trump so hard, saying, just wait, there are ways that we can defy the Constitution and keep Trump in power in 2028. Yeah, it's the bunker.
China does some really wild and cool things with ancient hero movies, and their marketing can be just as fun. Chinese milk tea brands have gone viral for printing serialized novels on their receipts.
Who knew buying milk tea would come with a bonus chapter of a novel? A blogger wrote, I was wondering why. The receipt was so long. Turns out they're writing a novel on it. I gotta ask, if I order again, will I get chapter 2? Another said, seeing this receipt, give me the feeling of being the white moonlight myself. Forced into a love story with an overbearing co-CEO. He hacked into the receipt system of my daily milk tea brand just to bet on whether I would see this CEO fanfic. According to the staff, the content is uniformly set by the company headquarters and it's the same across all stores. And that doesn't joke, so I will have to buy a cup every day just to follow the story? What a vicious marketing strategy. Molly's ordering app has also changed the store descriptions of novels. The receipt novels has 3 chapters, with the final one being a TC Festival special. The story ends on a cliffhanger, leaving consumers to imagine their own conclusion. And that doesn't joke, if more of these kinds of novels enter the milk tea industry, I might have to postpone my weight loss plans.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.